Hey, Nick.
Hey, Tys.
Welcome to my abode, my friend.
Thanks, Tys. You got me out of the house, man. I like it.
That's it. We've changed locales tonight. We're
chair moves.
in the pad.
In the how do you say it? Casa della Tyson.
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Casa della Tyson and Raquel.
Raquel, yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
There we go. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Nick Tys and Videotape. It's
Hey,
episode
gang.
number 97. We're very excited to be here today.
3 down, 3 more
man.
down.
And we've got some exciting stuff planned.
We do.
Not only in the lead up, but for episode 100 itself, it's going to be a big one.
It's going to be a fun.
But today, for episode 97, we are discussing a movie from 1998.
A movie that me and Tys absolutely adore, and we both own the soundtrack.
I do not own the soundtrack.
You don't own the soundtrack?
No.
I thought you did.
No, I love this soundtrack.
You love this soundtrack, but...
Yeah,
okay.
but
The Faculty.
We are talking
is
about
what
The Faculty, Robert Rodriguez's The Faculty.
Rodriguez's.
And I just as a bit of a spoiler.
Oh, yeah?
I may not be the love fest anymore that it once was.
What happened?
Well,
we'll get to that
see.
later.
We'll see.
Oh, no!
But before we do any of that, Nick, why don't you tell people how they can find our show?
Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick. This is my good man, Tyson.
Oh, hey.
And we do a podcast every week on film.
We do.
We don't review the film. We like to talk about the film.
It's a deep dive.
It's a deep dive. But you can find us anywhere that you find podcasts, apart from Podbean, I think it is. Podbean? It's something. Anyway, put in Nick Tys Videotape and you'll find us.
You will.
And that includes all the social media, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And we do have... I always get to this part and go, what do we do again? We do have a YouTube account.
We do.
So you can listen to it on there if you're so keen. Also, we do have an email account, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I spell Nick, N-I-C, and Tys is T-Y-S.
That's it. If you've got any questions you want to ask us, or if you want to suggest a movie for us to talk about, or anything like that,
or we do like to mailbag.
Yeah, we like to open the mailbag every now and then. Perhaps we will open that today. We will find out later. Ooh. But let's start the show as we usually start the show, Nick. Let's talk some trailers.
Oh, let's talk trailers.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking
trailers. All right.
Okay.
So, like lots of trailers this week, but for movies that we've already talked about.
We've already talked about them.
It was a lot of last trailers and things like that.
Yeah, and it's getting into the featurette section.
Yeah, Nick, did you watch the
Fuck no.
final thing?
No,
Okay,
full
good.
media blackout from now on.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
no, thank you. Which I heard it was quite good. I heard everyone was...
Oh, it's really good.
Oh, really?
It's really good.
Don't do that to me.
Oh, it was great. It's only like a minute long.
Oh, are there any...
There's some shots.
No,
there are some shots.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't need to see those shots.
And it's probably... Look, for you, I know what you're like with this kind of stuff, and it's probably better you don't watch.
Exactly.
It has wet my whistle like you wouldn't believe. Tickets are now on sale for Endgame, so we are obviously
I have my tickets,
very
Tys.
exciting.
And Tys is getting his later on tonight.
They'll be sorted very soon. We can't wait to see it. We'll be seeing it within the first couple of days. And we'll be ready to talk about it soon after.
Can't wait.
Aside from a lot of second and third trailers, there's only one trailer we were going to talk about today.
Yeah, only one.
And I can't remember what the title of the movie is, Nick.
I know, and my internet is being really shit.
Oh, that's so good.
Bear with me. 1 second. Okay. And The Dead Don't Die. There you go.
In this peaceful town, on these quiet streets, something terrifying, something horrifying is coming.
Excuse me, we're closed. Get away from me!
What the hell was it? A wild animal?
This is really awful. Maybe the worst thing I've ever seen.
What was it, wild animals?
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking zombies.
What?
You know, the undead. Ghouls.
You look gorgeous. Oh my. Are you in this together?
Flesh-eating zombies.
Don't joke, it's really, really creepy.
Oh, man. This isn't going to end well.
When I was a boy, I thought
They gravitate towards things they did when they were alive.
Coffee.
Did she just say Chardonnay?
Yeah, she did.
1, 2, Welcome to my world, zombies.
I've been telling you this is all going to end badly.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I'm quite confident of my ability to defend myself against the undead.
I can see that.
Excuse me. Those are some pretty good cuts. You played some minor league ball, didn't you? Well, a little Class A. It was a long time ago.
All right. So The Dead Don't Die.
The Dead Don't Die.
It's
written and directed by Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah, which I have to admit, Jarmusch is a bit of a...
He's a bit of a hit and miss?
No, he's a bit of a gap in my viewing.
Right.
I've seen Dead Man.
Yep.
And I've seen Ghost Dog.
Okay. I've seen
And
Coffee
that might
and
be
Cigarettes because Jack White was in it. Because I'm a massive Jack White
Sure.
fan. And I think, that's it for me.
That might be it.
Yeah.
So we're both kind of we're not the experts on Jarmusch.
No,
so,
we're virgins of Jarmusch. Oh, hang on, wait, no. Only Lovers Left Alive. I've seen that.
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking adored it. Did
no,
you see
I
that?
didn't see that. I heard it was great.
Oh, so good.
Look, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed both Dead Man and Ghost Dog.
Yeah, I heard Ghost Dog is really good.
They're really interesting films, and he's obviously got a very unique aesthetic. His movies have a weird kind of relaxed quality about them. Everything's very slow and everything's very deliberate. And that's actually kind of my cup of tea in certain circumstances. I really like movies that take their time and allow moments to breathe and all that kind of stuff. So, it's just one of those things. It's just I've got no excuses. It's just
well, that'd be a fun spin for this one because The Dead Don't Die is just your run-of-the-mill zombie invasion.
Yeah.
Jim Jarmusch style.
Exactly.
And you can tell by the trailer that, the main guys, which is Bill Murray, obviously, and Adam Driver, who are the police or sheriff.
Hang on, is Jarmusch, was Broken Flowers Jarmusch?
Correct.
I've seen Broken Flowers.
Oh, there you go. See, there you go.
Yeah, I have seen
that. So Bill Murray, kind of a Jarmusch regular,
maybe. I'm not sure how many others he's done with him.
I think he was in Coffee and Cigarettes.
Yeah, but we're exposing our kind of a gap in both of our kind of cinema viewing.
But yeah, like when you look at the trailer, it's just a kind of an easy, nonchalant kind of invasion,
and it's
where you're like, oh yeah, look at that, zombies.
Yeah, and that's it's obviously like his aesthetic is just. Now let's chuck zombies into that.
Yeah,
and his character, his choices of characters are usually pretty kind of. They're not big, kind of broad caricatures, really.
Yeah.
We have a very what appears to be a pretty unique character in Tilda Swinton, what she's playing.
Yeah.
Like samurai sword wielding yoga instructor or something. I'm not quite sure what her thing is.
I don't know what she is. Yeah. But she just carries around a samurai sword, and she has a Scottish accent.
Yeah, it is a strange accent.
So
you are
funny.
right. And we also have Bill Murray and Adam Driver as the local police.
Yeah, and you've got Chloe Savini as well as the
like a deputy kind of thing.
cop.
Yeah. And
Steve Buscemi's in there as well.
Yeah, the cast is great. And look, I mean, it's obviously Jarmusch brings a certain amount of kind of indie cred with him, so you can get these kind of actors that have that reputation as well.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's a very kind of it feels like kind of where Shaun of the Dead kind of attacked it from this like. Kind of not stoner because they're not stoners, but kind of like dropkick kind of
pub
English kind of layabout kind of how they would deal with the zombie apocalypse. We now get this kind of
almost
middle America, very kind of low key. Kind of just going about your business, people.
Sort of a Garden State type deal.
And then what would happen if, zombies are there? And I like how the trailer is kind of not pulling any punches. It's a world where people are very aware of zombies.
Which I like.
And,
it's always fun.
Culture exists with that awareness. And so when there's something like this happens and people go, well, it's clearly zombies. Everyone just kind of goes...
They were like, oh, it's a total movie trope. They go, oh, it's an animal. It was a big animal.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver goes... I think it was zombies.
Yeah, I think it's the undead.
I think it's the undead.
Yeah,
ghouls, if you will.
Ghouls. It's a great delivery of what is a very simple gag. His delivery is fantastic on that. Look, and I'm really excited for this. To be honest, I think
same.
if there was a movie that could get me more interested in genre stuff because obviously, I lean towards genre stuff. So having someone tell me there's a movie where people sit on a train and have a conversation in black and white while talking existentially about about life, I might not jump to watch that. I know I need to be in a certain frame of mind, but knowing that he's doing a genre comedy, I guess,
right?
It does help me kind of because that's why that's why the movies I have seen, Dead Man, which is his take on a western, which I love, and Ghost Dog is a weird kind of like gangster samurai thing.
Yeah,
they are two genres that obviously I'm going to go, well, that sounds fucking bonkers. I really want to see that.
Yeah.
And this I think has the similar effect, which is strange that I didn't watch Only Lovers Left Alive because I really his take on a vampire film.
Vampires,
I think would be really interesting.
So good. Yeah, so good.
But I'm definitely on board for this, Nick.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And you can just tell that the comedy is going to be... There'll be some subtle laughs. You'll give a laugh in there, but I know for a fact that there are going to be moments where I'm just going to be pausing because it's so hilarious. Because it completely deadpan and someone gets their head lopped off or something. Like something insane,
look, and that's it.
Like
and we
happens.
haven't really seen anything like that. Like usually the comedy route will go with the kind of... The extreme overreaction to this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So it'd be really interesting to attack it from the different direction and just have people who are like, oh, well, I guess he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that person got eaten in front of me.
a zombie dog. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before.
Exactly.
Do you want to shoot it? No, I'm good.
It's kind of like if zombies were in Fargo or something. Yeah. Like that's the kind of vibe I get from it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a zombie.
Hilarious.
So I'm quite excited and great cast, like really great, strong cast. I always love seeing Bill Murray in anything.
Bill Murray in anything.
And Adam Driver's really quickly kind of becoming a favourite as well.
I love how Adam Driver is so eclectic with his choices. And have you listened to Adam Driver in interviews? He is
bits and pieces, I think,
straight down the barrel type of dude. He is not. He's not going to crack a laugh, or he doesn't come in with jokes written and things like that. He's not. Yeah, he's the type of. When I saw him on, I think it was Colbert. I was like, oh wow, you're so
Colbert trying to do Colbert
straight,
shtick, and he's having no bar of it.
He's just like, we shot a film. It was cool. It was called Star Wars, and and you're like, fuck. Way to downplay it, man. And
he said that though. He's in that. He did do that fantastically funny Saturday Night Live sketch, with the random low tier workers on the Starkiller base, like
so good. And that's the thing, he's so good at comedy, just comes out with it, and you're like, how?
His comic timing is excellent, and I think that does come a lot from his deadpan delivery. But even there was a movie that I didn't like at all, called What If, I believe. It was a romantic comedy.
I actually didn't mind What If with Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe,
yeah. It was all right.
And Adam Driver was clearly the best thing in it.
He was.
But he was quite manic and over the top. So he does have the ability to kind of switch it on when he needs to and then just go back to his usual self, his usual very kind of, deadpan straight delivery.
He does sort of the same thing. It's a movie that came out in 2014, This Is Where I Leave You. Do you remember that?
No, I didn't see that.
That was actually like a really good, like a Parenthood.
Okay, sure.
90s or 80s throwback to where, it's just acting and some good writing and, nothing is CG'd, which is very, very rare.
Yeah.
It was so good. And he was that character as well.
Yeah, right.
It was so funny.
Yeah. While We're Young is another one I'll throw out there, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
I thought it had huge problems, but it was very hard not to appreciate his performance, especially. So he's quickly jumping up to be one of my favourite kind of character actors, I think. I'm not sure how I'd feel about him in a lead performance just yet. I'm still not 100% on that. I didn't see
BlacKkKlansman.
Well, he's not even a lead in that.
He's not a lead.
Patterson, I think, was the one.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also a Jarmusch movie. Came out a couple of years ago, where apparently he gives a great lead performance. But I'm yet to be convinced of his lead capabilities. But very happy to have my mind changed, of course.
That's right.
Because I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we're going to talk about then, Nick.
The Dead Don't Die? The Dead Don't Die? Is that what it's called?
The Dead Don't Die, yeah. It's so perfect of a title because it's just not... It doesn't flow off the tongue at all. It feels awkward to say it out loud.
Yeah.
And I think
Dead Don't Die.
I think that's very intentional.
It's a lot of Ds, 3 Ds.
Yeah.
Triple Ds.
The Triple Ds.
Triple Ds. Has Jarmusch written anything... Just a quick question. Has Jarmusch written anything that for other people?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd hazard a guess and say no. Because he's such a unique voice. We were only just talking about this last week. That's probably a great example of a director that really only does his own voice, directs his own voice, because I don't think he's directed anything that he hasn't written either.
No. Not that I can see. I'm looking for it, but nothing.
So there are still a few there, which is good.
That looks interesting. Anyway.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
Nick, why don't we move on to our feature press, man? That's what we're going to do for today on trailers. I'm excited for this one.
I like it. All right. Faculty. Oh, God, I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
And now for our feature presentation.
From Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream and Scream 2, and Robert Rodriguez, the director of Desperado, and From Dusk Till Dawn, comes a new science fiction thriller.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers' dirty looks.
The students at Harrington High have always suspected their teachers were from another planet.
Is this going to be on the test?
This is the test.
This time, they're right. Now, these 6 students won't just question authority. They'll have to destroy it. The faculty.
Please report to the principal's office.
All right.
Okay.
We're getting this early.
I like it.
It's good.
So cut the fat.
Yeah.
Cut the fat type.
We're trimming it. This will be a tight
lean.
hour 20 episode,
Well, just like the film, Tys. It was over. It was quick. It got in there, did its business, and it's done.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's longer than it probably needs to be.
Oh.
So this should be a nice tight 90. I think it's bordering on.
What are you going to clean? Like, what are you going to cut on this one? Like I love this movie. Like, even though I'm going in with nostalgia purposes, this is Nick. I was definitely at the video store by this point, and I had my driver's license at this point, and I thought it was badass. This was made for me.
This movie,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. As at that period of time, I 100% agree with you. Like the early 2000s, I loved this movie, and I think putting it alongside, I think the movies that it's obviously trying to cash in on, like your Scream.
Exactly.
I know what you did last summer.
I love how you mentioned it last week. Williamson wrote this,
which I didn't actually remember.
Yeah,
funnily enough.
How funny is that?
And so that was really, as soon as I saw his name pop up as screenwriter, it all clicked into place, and I was like, of course, it's a fucking Williamson screenplay.
Makes sense. My man, Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, which is and it it's probably, as far as his screenplays go, it's probably the least obvious a Kevin Williamson screenplay.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's nowhere near as self-referential and aware as some of the other stuff he did in the horror, more straight horror genre stuff. And they actually do sound a lot more like teenagers. Like his dialogue feels a lot more natural, whereas that was always a big complaint about Dawson's Creek, is that they talked like
no one speaks like
people
that.
way beyond their years.
Yeah.
There's less obvious signposts that it's a Kevin Williamson screenplay, except for the fact that it is pretty clever. Like generally just pretty clever.
And I like that they're very
and witty.
The one thing that I did that did connect is that they're very much in. It's intelligent writing, like you said, but they reference so many other things. They're aware of the world around them. They're not movie talking.
Yeah.
Speak, you know what I mean?
And look, it's not. There's only probably one scene that's as blatant as the entirety of Scream, for instance. Whereas there are scenes in Scream where they're entirely driven by their awareness of horror movies, and there's quite a few of those.
Yeah.
I would say in this, there's only really one scene that wears that proudly, and that's the in the library.
In the library, where they sit down and talk.
When they have a good chat about alien invasion films and kind of go from there. And I think that's a scene that reeks of Williamson. You just go, yes, there he is, well and truly there.
So good.
But even like other elements of this movie, you can call it homage, I guess. But they're so clearly taking cues from the big alien invasion films of the time, Invasions of the Body Snatchers, The Thing. These movies are seeped through the seams of this movie as well. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So good. I love that intro as well. That start intro where the introduction to each character. And with the writing and stuff, I'm like, that's.
I mean, it's cool then.
Robin, yeah. Oh, come on! It lives. No,
I don't think you can get away with that anymore. I mean, like, it's fine in '98. It's fine.
The only other time that I could remember you getting away with it, not that it did it, but sort of like a Scott Pilgrim film.
Oh yeah, Scott Pilgrim
could get away with it now.
Scott Pilgrim has a very deliberate purpose for doing that, whereas this movie I don't think does so much.
Right.
This movie
it introduces your characters. Well, this is why I liked it, because you're not getting bogged down by too much character building. You get a snippet of who these people are.
Yeah.
That's the jock, and this is the weirdo, and this is the the badass, and things like that.
Of course. We get those snippets. It
just doesn't linger. That's why I like it.
Yeah, look, it's not there for long. It is, we learn their names from that, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's an effect that I have no feelings for either way, other than saying that when you watch it now, all I do is remember a time remember when every movie did that? Yeah, and now I'm like, thank God we don't do that anymore. Because I don't think I could watch a movie released like this year that did that.
Bring it back. Come on. I love it. You know why I love it? No. Don't do it. I love it in end credit sequences. That's when I love it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The end credits can do it for sure.
Yeah. So good.
But, it's almost like, do we really even need it? Because we get the archetypes are so strongly drawn.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we have any doubt what kind of characters these people are.
Yeah.
We have the typical 80s teen movie stereotypes.
Yeah.
To a T.
Yeah.
Like
slashed in with the 90s, because it's the 90s. So you get that alternate 90s feel to it.
Yeah, exactly. So that, everything's just a little bit more 90s orientated, but we still get, the jock, the nerd, the burnout.
Yeah.
The basket case.
Exactly.
The
popular girl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We they're all just there for us to be like, all right, cool.
Oh, yeah,
we're doing this.
We know what we're doing.
We're doing this.
Exactly. And it's if you look back at it, you can look at where, like, if anyone's sitting around a table going, oh, what's the movie about? Well, it's an Asian invasion with the Breakfast Club people. Like, there you go. That's it.
And that's probably the pitch.
And that's how good it is.
Yeah.
Sure, let's do it.
That's probably how
that's all you need.
Yeah, they got away
with
it.
Let's go. Who have you got? Yeah, well, we got Robert Rodriguez. Okay, cool. I like it. He's in. It's a bit now. He's a bit in.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's obviously, we don't like to talk about it too much now, but Miramax, this is the time of the Weinstein domination.
That's true.
And, it is what it is. But he'd worked with Rodriguez prior to that, because that was From Dusk Till Dawn was a Miramax. I think Desperado was a Miramax as well.
Yeah, it was. And
so they obviously had a working relationship.
So was all the way up to Grindhouse.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Last week, yeah.
So it's super, super 90s. It's like,
I love how also what I also liked about it was the fact that when you get these characters, like you get maybe one or two scenes that tells you about them.
Yeah.
And then from there it's straight into the alien invasion, but they don't linger on, is it an alien invasion? Is it? Do we know? Are we sure? No. We know what it is.
It's pretty clearly, It's pretty clearly spoken.
Yeah.
It's it has the typical scenes that a lot of these movies have, the examination of the creature, and they're like, well, it's nothing we've ever seen before. Exactly. Blah blah blah. I'm going to take it to my John Stewart. I'm going to take it to my my guys at MIT or whatever.
I know,
and we'll get it sorted. It's really, it does. I get what you're saying. I think the students themselves are pretty quick to go, something's
up,
not right here.
Yeah.
The movie itself, though, it's like it doesn't acknowledge the overall carnage, I think, until the Jon Stewart
reveal,
because I think it's probably one of the strongest scenes in the movie, I think, is when it clearly establishes that this is our group, this is what they're going to be facing. You get to see how each of them interact in that environment, like... Josh Hartnett wastes no time getting the blade off the guillotine and just fucking going for it.
Slicing
we get to see how and then that triggers the second great scene, which is the let's get to the car.
Yeah.
And they have to walk through
the full school,
knowing full well that 3/4 of the place is probably already turned.
Yep.
And they've just got a beeline for the car. Don't draw attention to ourselves. Just go. And I really like that scene a lot. I think it's great.
So good. So good.
Speaking of I want to talk about the opening scene though, because it is such a burst of nostalgia, like the start of this movie. And look, a lot of movies do it, but when you hear Offspring kick in, you see this wonderfully fit young Robert Patrick.
Yep.
Like, still only, 7 years removed from T2, so he's still... You look at Robert Patrick now, and he looks like he has lived a life, this guy.
I know, right?
I don't know what happened.
Through the wars.
If this is 90... So
you know what happened? He did television. That's what happened.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He, like... It's like all of a sudden, in 2004-ish, he just suddenly looked like a 60-year-old man. Yeah. You know, when you look at him now, and you're like, oh, what happened to Robert Patrick? How did he go from being...
Man, what happened to the T-1000? He was, like, slick and fit.
Yeah.
And you would
but he's
kind of
still,
scare you
he's
with,
still
like, a
there in
stare
this.
chip.
He's still on that side in this, which I really loved seeing. And you've got fucking Usher running around.
Yeah, that was weird.
And Sean Hattersley, who is... in my memory, is 100% only ever in like 4 90s movies, and that was the entirety of his career.
So true.
And then it's really it's unmatched in its opening 30-second burst of nostalgia. It's really quite interesting.
So good. How good is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how kind of Rodriguez sets up that start with the principal and the coach. And the stabbing and the kind of they do it a little bit, but they don't too much. And this is why I kind of liked it as well with the is he turned, is he not? Do we know where he is? Sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
I thought they did that really well. And
I like that opening scene a lot.
And then ending with Piper Laurie, she's had a mass career, man.
And I mean, how good is it to see Piper Laurie? Like,
I know, right?
And there's something about her, like she does crazy.
She does scary, like
just
to
nobody else.
When she starts just diving in with those scissors with her face. I always wanted to do that. I'm like, whoa.
I don't think I recognised her at first.
Oh, really? I always knew her. Always I knew her. My first interaction with Piper Laurie was Return to Oz, and we have to do that really soon. She's Aunt May. She's Aunt May in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Aunt May. Yeah.
Right.
And so she does that, but also The Hustle, Tys. She's the main in The Hustle. That's where I know her from as well. Yeah, The Hustler.
Oh, The Hustler.
Sorry, The Hustler.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, God, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to... It's been a while since I've seen The Hustler.
Man. Back in
I
the
do love
day.
that movie.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, though. That I adore, and if anybody that's worked in a video store around our time will know this shot super well because this trailer was...
Let me guess it.
All right.
It's the shot of the coach turning around and the fireworks hitting in the background.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh, damn it.
You are so close.
Because that is like a mince. That was so... How good is that shot?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I think you might actually, in your memory, have just missed it a little bit because it is when he turns around, but it's when he turns around on the loudspeaker and says, would Miss Drake please report to the principal's office? Yes! I swear to God, I have seen that shot 400 times in my life, I reckon, because this is on... This trailer was at the beginning of every movie you rented in 98 to 2002.
100%.
So I've seen that shot
it was the start of,
many times.
American Pie and
Probably,
I Know What You Did Last Summer. And
Probably.
All of those.
Yeah.
Like tons of
So it's so good to see that again in context and just be like, oh, of course, video store days.
So good.
Simpler time, Nick.
So good. Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
All right. I love... How do you feel about... because the movie on itself, apart from getting rid of the aliens, or the alien, or the parasite,
it's essentially one alien, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
this is
their parasite kind of offspring.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring this up now because otherwise we're probably going to get into it later. Okay. I wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
Is it one parasite? Like, does Mary Beth? She's the queen. Spoilers for fucking. She's the queen.
Yep.
Is everyone else their own entity that they infect, or is it kind of like a hive mind where she...
Well, that's kind of they play the plot as that if you kill the queen, you kill everybody. So she obviously has a link with everybody.
But everyone else is their own thing?
But I think they might still have their own entity to a certain degree.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
but based on what we've seen in the fish tank scene, is that they're a reproductive organism, so...
Right.
Reproducing organism, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it all started from her, and she would continue to multiply herself.
Yes.
Okay. But but they do show personality, so
they do.
They must have a certain...
They're kind of on their own as well.
Are they just... Like, one thing I noticed is that everyone gets kind of... how funny is it how everyone talks about how pretty they are?
Yeah. Well,
is that just his attempt at is that just their brain's way of saying act normal?
Yeah. Well, that's what I took it as.
Or is there a weird kind of does everyone get kind of a bit hot under the collar when they're an alien?
Oh, okay.
And you know what I mean? Because they're obviously they need the water to survive as well.
Yeah.
So there's that constant they're running at high heat, high temperature, and it might turn. So that might be manifested as a bit of everyone's a bit randy as well.
Go there. That's hilarious.
I was like, well, everyone's a bit, whew.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bit warm.
Yeah. Hi, Laura, you're rocking that throw that you've got on. That sleeveless throw.
Yeah, she is. Okay, I never looked at it like that. I looked at it as they're trying to kind of assimilate what
and
humans
it's just
do.
it's just
but also on that, then maybe I don't know. Maybe I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, Famke Janssen gets super randy.
Well, she kind of this is the thing. It kind of brings out the best in you.
Well, is that well? Yeah,
I think
is that
that's
what they're
maybe
implying? Is that
because Piper Laurie was, the nice old lady that did the musicals.
Yeah.
And then she turned into almost like a CEO type stature.
Yeah, she got really So is it that
look?
you gain a certain amount of confidence?
I think that's what it is.
Through it, and then you become much more of a freer version of yourself. Like you maintain parts of your own personality, but it's like without conscience.
Or that's what I was going to say. Or maybe it's the parasite looking at humans, going, "Wow, this one's really attractive. This cell."
I would like that body.
I would like that body.
Yeah, fair enough. That might be part of it too.
Because that's where, when at the start, and I wish they did it a little bit more, maybe in the end or whatever, how both of them say, "I've always wanted to do that."
That gets lost, doesn't it?
It does. They do it twice, and that's it.
I don't understand what that means.
I wanted it one more time in the end. Oh wow,
that's
it really
weird.
is messed up.
Why do they want to do certain? Is it that they just want to kill somebody, or specifically, I want to stab somebody with some scissors, or I want to put a pencil through somebody's hand?
Yeah, or is it the human part? Because is it once the parasite goes into them, are they all parasite?
Right. So are you saying that BB Newirth's principal was maybe a big old pain in the ass?
Yeah.
And so it's just manifesting that inner kind of desire that they had, where they're just like, I wish I could just fucking kill that chick.
Yeah.
And
it comes out and it's fine.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
Know?
Yeah. That needed calling back. That was right for a callback.
Yeah. I would have loved that to call back as well, because you would have completely forgot it.
Yeah.
Like right at the end or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they are I think I answered my own question. I thought about my own question. Is are they 50-50 parasite and human? I think they're 90% parasite, because of the scene where, what's his name? The jock that no one remembers. Is it Stan?
Sean Hattersey.
Sean Hattersey.
That's all I know.
That he runs onto the football field. He's like, I'm going to check if they're still alien. I think after we kill the principal. And you look at them, and they're like, they've just got their mouths open, and tentacles are coming out of their face.
They're just soaking up the rain.
And when the lightning flashes, you see that they're all inside is just the parasite.
They've become slightly like translucent.
Yeah. Such a good effect, man.
It holds up pretty well.
The effects in this are so good, man. Come on.
The practical stuff looks really great. The CGI stuff, like Famke Janssen's head crawling around outside when she gets thrown out of the car.
I love that.
Oh, that's rough now.
It's cheap. It's cheap.
Yeah, but the practical stuff I really enjoy. The giant parasite at the end is
still do it
pretty well realized.
Yeah. It's really good. And some of the stuff that they do, like that end, not to skip to the end, but when poor Frodo gets a face full of maggots at the end, you're like, that looks like it would hurt.
Because it's such an often used special effect. Like you think of something like The Mummy, which was 99 or whatever.
Yeah. Was it 99?
I think 99.
Mummy, I thought it was a little bit earlier than that.
It could
like
be
96.
Yeah, it could be.
Keep going.
The
beetle.
Yeah, the way that they had
about?
the bugs that would crawl under your skin. I think this is far better realised as an effect than it is in The Mummy. Because I always remember being like,
my man Tys is always spot on the ball.
I always thought that in The Mummy that was one of the weaker effects, is the way they realised the skin, like the bumps in the skin. Whereas I think it's done pretty...
Like that?
I'm not saying I don't like it, but I think it's better realised visually in this. It's maybe it's because there's less overall effects that they had more money to put into that, but
totally.
I always thought that they did that pretty well. Especially like I like how aggressive the takeover is.
Oh yeah, it can be quite violent as well.
Yeah, like when they've got some Hayek on the ground and it just comes out and then there's that blood spatter. I think it's pretty cool the way they take over.
Yeah, totally. I totally forgot about old lady in the cupboard. I totally forgot about that. Like I remember her in the shower scene with her half her head coming off, but I forgot she was in the cupboard when they're hiding.
Yeah,
good scene.
That is a good scene with them hiding in it.
Yeah.
I think the follow up to that is really terrible because
them just running.
No. I like the run. I like the conversation. They're just like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And they all just kind of stand there and wait because they know that eventually they're going to get them. Exactly. It's them going back.
Oh yeah,
because it actually propels a lot of the plot from then on, and I think it's really dumb.
This section is the only section that I have issues with.
Yeah.
And in the end of it, I just laughed my ass off because I'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, when you're talking about when Elijah takes his parents, who one of them is Shooter McGavin.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, Shooter, what's up? And he goes back they go to the high school and kind of confront, and you see the police officer get taken over.
Yeah.
Which is so well done. That actor, well done, man.
Yeah, he's
did
great.
A top-notch job.
And it is great. There's that little bit of ruckus in the principal's office,
and it's just the eye look.
It's more the thing that frustrates me is that. How in God's name did he think that they wouldn't get rid of the body? They've been gone.
Yeah, right.
Like, come on, Mum and Dad, I'll show you. It's in here.
Yeah.
It's not like they've just been there the whole time. And it frustrates me because it drives the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
And it is such a contrived way to get to that conversation with the parents and the teachers.
Exactly.
Because there's no way in hell any person in their right mind would say,
I'm going to believe.
Well, I've got no proof.
Yeah.
I can't go back there because they're clearly going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
They're not going to just leave a body in there now.
Exactly. And I love the like it just makes no sense. Like they go back home. Like you think, oh sure, well that scene served its purpose. After what's her name runs off and he slides on the floor and he runs after her. You think, okay, cool, leave it at that. But the fact that they go like it should be the next day at high school. Don't go to going back there trying to find the body, and don't do the parents punishing him, which I love now. It's one of my favorite scenes because it's just so fucking ridiculous. I'm like, why would you do this to your son?
Yeah.
Like, number one, thinking that he's on drugs. Number two, all the punishments that he gets: no phone, no radio, no modem. And no porn. And I'm like, what does the porn have to do with it? Don't take the man's porn. I was like, I love how the mum just goes, take his porno. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're a porno. I'm like, that's harsh, man.
Like,
come on.
I'd hate to think that my parents knew where my porno was. Because that's an embarrassing conversation that I don't think I ever want to have with them. Two, is removing masturbation privileges an actual punishment? Like, do people do that?
That seems messed up.
That's really cruel.
How is that a punishment?
Also, he's a 16, 17-year-old boy.
It's not going to take much.
He's going to figure out a way to get around that.
I'm sure the Kmart Brazil
I was about to say.
will be fine. Like,
yeah. He'll be just browsing through fucking TV Guide, and he'll be like, well, this is going to have to do.
Oh, this is fine. Oh, Baywatch is on. Baywatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, but it's such an yeah.
I had to bring it up because it was so like back. I never thought about it when I was watching it for watching its sake. You know, now that I'm going back and going, God damn, Faculty, I love it. And then take his porno, I'm like, oh, what?
It's a bit rough.
Come on.
It's good. It's very much a piece of dialogue that works exclusively as a gag. And then upon reflection, you go, oh, well, nobody would ever do that.
No,
these aren't real people.
No, that's messed up.
Yeah. So what's going on when he sneaks out and
falls off the roof?
Are they actually there at that point?
I think they're there. Yeah.
And that's when they get his mum and dad? Is that what we're led to believe? Because there's that creepy shot of the mum shutting the blind?
I don't know why
silhouette?
that's there. I think that's just a Hitchcock reference.
Bit of a red herring?
Yeah, I think that's a Hitchcock reference. But no, I reckon the parents get done when the coach comes up to the dad in the car. And they look back at him.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty creepy.
I think that's when Elijah goes, cool, I can't go home.
Yeah, that might be the best sequence in the film, I reckon. That next day at school, because that's when obviously the thing happens with Jon Stewart character as well. It's when they do the walkout.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
Stokely in the library.
It's my favorite sequence, I think, in the whole movie. Because I do have issues with where it ends up. Which is fine. Like, I don't think it's not necessarily like bad. It's just I think that 20-minute sequence really realizes the potential of this film. I think to be because they never really lean into the paranoia as much as they do in that sequence, and they're my favorite bits of this movie.
Yeah.
That real kind of like. Anybody could be an alien. All the great camera shots of the slow heads turning, and it's all classic. It's every other paranoid thriller does this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's the innocent people kind of walking through the crowd, fearing that everybody is watching them, and you get those great slow motion turns, and you get the bump into somebody who it's like, is this person? What is this safe? What are we going to do?
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
The other movie that does it really well is The Fallen or Fallen.
Fallen. Fallen's got that great sequence when it keeps moving from person to person while he's trying. Yeah,
how good is that film?
I like that film.
Who directed Fallen?
Fallen is directed by I want to say someone like
my brother,
Greg Hoblet or something. Okay. Is that his name? Hoblet. No.
1998.
I could be completely wrong.
How the fuck do you get this?
What's his name?
Greg Hoblet.
Hoblet. All right, cool. Yeah.
Gregory Hoblet.
There you go. He directed a movie that I really don't like called The Imposter.
The Imposter.
I think that's him.
The Imposter.
Did Hoblet do Don't Say a Word? Was that him? Remember that? That was a fucking trailer and a half. Do you remember that was everywhere?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't say a word or whatever. And it was Brittany Murphy.
I hated that fucking
Brittany Murphy
movie.
was like autistic or something, kept whispering.
And Michael Douglas.
Yeah. Is that the same guy?
No.
Okay.
Thank God. I don't know what you're talking. Are you talking about Untraceable?
Nah, I might be making it up.
Fracture. Frequency.
That's how I know him.
Frequency.
I know a real soft spot for Frequency.
Primal Fear as well.
Oh, was that him?
Amazing film.
There you go. He had a bit of a run, didn't he?
Yeah.
He directed some interesting little thrillers.
What is he doing now? Just TV.
Where does any director go after they don't get fucking work in Hollywood anymore?
Exactly. Man, he's still working.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Still paying the bills.
Doing The Americans.
It's apparently a good show.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Just before we jump, I wish they did a little bit more of the paranoia. Who's who, who's what.
100%.
Instead of just in, what's his name's basement or shed.
Oh, yeah, Zeke.
Thank you. Josh Hartnett. It needed just one more scene or something. Get rid of the punishment porno thing.
Yep.
And do a scene where they go to class or something like that. Or do something.
Yeah. I would have liked him to have to. Yeah, their escape was too easy to me.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. But it felt too easy. I wanted to see them have to try and negotiate this situation a little bit more. Because instead what we get is, a Thing ripoff, basically.
Yeah.
Where we get it's... instead of testing everyone's blood with the Thing, it's everyone has to do fucking crank or whatever it's called. What does he call it? Scat. Oh my God. Can we have a list of the dumbest drug names?
What's another dumb drug
I fucking
name?
love dumb drug names.
Yeah. Scat.
Skunk, I think, is one.
Yep. This is not dumb. This is actually quite cool. In Warriors, it's called Flash. I kind of like that.
What's it called?
Flash.
Is it Nuke in RoboCop 2? Is it
Nuke? Yes. And obviously the famous Scarface is called the Yayo. Get the Yayo.
Yayo.
Yeah.
But that's actually cocaine, though.
That's actually cocaine.
I like made up.
You like made up?
I like made up drugs that have really dumb names.
Nuke. I need to watch Terminator 2 again.
Because everything is always like, what's the most like?
Yeah.
It's got to be punchy. It's got to
sound cool.
It's got to sound cool. Yeah, exactly.
Even though literally it's just laundry detergent.
Well, like he's fucking. Zeke, we need to talk about some of these characters.
Let's do character thing. I didn't think of that. Let's do that.
Zeke's a fucking
he's a tool.
He's a tool,
he's
man.
A fucking tool.
Like I get what they're trying to do. Yeah. They're obviously trying to, he's meant to be edgy and cool, and he doesn't go with the system, man.
Yeah, I love it. Do you know what I love? I love that he is like that, but they still keep him on the level. How the guys come up and go, yeah, what? Well. How is this going to work? How are we going to know that these fake IDs are going to work? I'm a genius, man. Then why are you repeating your senior year?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they do cut him down a bit,
line.
But then they make it like the noble, intelligent guy who they do that thing where it's like,
I know, right?
Oh, he's actually so smart. He just doesn't apply himself because he's too good for book reading or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They've got a weird. really weird fascination with his like nobility or something, even though he's fucking selling these kids like laundry detergent and caffeine pills.
Caffeine pills.
Like, it's a miracle none of these kids have died.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, like legit died.
100%.
I love how Josh Hartnett has kind of fallen off the face of the earth as well.
Josh Hartnett, I like
and
him.
He's speaking about looking rough. Shit, man.
Yeah, but man, I like.
You like Josh Hartnett?
Well,
you like 30 Days at Night.
I love 30 Days at Night. I also really enjoyed Penny Dreadful, the TV show, when he was in that. Yeah, it's a really good show. I only watched the first season, but I really loved it.
Do you know what? He's my favourite because I remember this. I was big fan, and still am a big fan of the first Sin City, and he was in that, and I thought he did really well in that.
Yeah, but I mean, just a small role, but really kind of great. Used his charisma really well, I thought.
So good.
Yeah, I like Josh Hartnett a lot.
I like Josh Hartnett.
I think he's used fine in this.
Yeah, sure.
But here's another thing. Just to sidetrack for a second.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's do the characters first, and then can we make a little reminder to return to the drug testing scene?
Oh, sure. Other characters?
Well,
is that what you want to do?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what do we like? It's like populated with kind of recognizable faces, but not so much like aside from maybe Elijah Wood, who's now kind of gone back not into obscurity, but back into kind of indie films.
Yeah. That's true.
It's
and a bit of TV.
Yeah, it's a very heavily populated cast, but when you look at something like Scream, I think you had more success with your cast in that. They were probably much more of a like everyone broke out for a little while. Whereas in this, I think maybe we didn't get that as much. We kind of got it with Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
We got a little bit with Jordana Brewster, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Claire Duvall went off. She does a lot of different movies, hit more television, I think it was.
Claire Duvall played that same character for about 5 years.
She really did, didn't she?
And she really cashed in on that. And look, good on her, because she does, that's
spot on.
For a very unique look. Claire Duvall, like she's not Hollywood pretty, like and I mean that in the most polite way possible. She's absolutely she's stunning, but she's not your typical Hollywood beauty.
Yeah.
And they found a way to really kind of make use of her very unique look.
Yeah.
And that was to make her the weird goth chick in every high school movie for like a short period of time.
Exactly.
And good on her, like for finding that little niche.
Yeah.
It's a shame that because I think she's actually very good at what she does.
Yeah.
And
believable.
She's super believable.
Super believable. Whereas I don't believe, what's his name? Sean. What do you keep bringing him up? Sean
Hatosi. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Hattersley.
Hatosi. I don't believe him as the star quarterback.
No, he's not
at all.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's very good casting. But at the same time, I also think, isn't it nice that they cast somebody
who
maybe is not the typical star quarterback as the jock?
Yeah.
It's a bit like Emilio in Breakfast Club, to be honest. Like
Emilio,
he kind of. He doesn't look like he could wrestle anybody in Breakfast Club. No. He's not really fit, is he?
He's 80s fit, man.
Oh, that old school kind of like, it's like the same as old man fit.
And you're like, oh yeah, look at him. He could run. That's it, though.
I don't see the point in running unless I'm being chased.
Unless I'm being chased. What a stupid line.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
You don't mind it?
It's good in that kind of like, I like Robert Patrick's response to it. I think it's a set-up line.
It's the smile.
Yeah.
Being chased.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood. He was good.
He does it's
okay,
fine,
doesn't he?
He looks much younger than them, and I find the romance with him and Jordana Brewster really strange.
Yeah,
I don't buy it for a second.
Well, we'll leave can we leave the end? What happens at the end for the end? Because I have a thing on that.
Yeah, and then
but Jordana Brewster, she's well cast. She's spot on. She looks great.
She does a good job.
Does well in her role.
Yeah, like she does enough with it. I don't know if it's a problem of the screenwriting itself or if it's the performances, but I know we're meant to sympathise with her more, and I don't. I'm kind of on the side of.
I'm feeling like we're missing a scene though.
Maybe,
for me. Yeah,
because I think she treats the way she talks to Sean Hattusi. I'm going to keep pronouncing his name wrong.
Keep doing it. Shawnee, just call him Shawnee.
I think the way she treats him is garbage. Like it's really quite awful.
Yeah, and Stokely as well. Like
and
the way
Stokely,
she
always the way she treats.
Yeah,
you're 100% right.
Yeah.
And then we're meant to sympathise, and then we're meant to see this thing from like Elijah Wood's point of view, where it's like you're actually a really great person when you're not being a grade A bitch or whatever he says.
Yeah, we
and
don't see that though.
I'm like, well, I've never seen her be anything but. Like, when is she a good person?
Yeah. No, wrong.
So yeah, I struggle to sympathise with her. And I'm pretty sure we're meant to. So maybe this is cut to shit.
That's true.
Or maybe it's just a hole in the screenplay.
And how do you feel? And we talked about all of them. How do you feel about Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson from Atlanta?
Yeah, I think you'd have to be a fair idiot to not pick her as the one from Pretty Early Days. I think.
I didn't pick. I remember watching it and I didn't pick it.
You didn't pick it the first time?
Well, I don't. I never try. I don't.
No,
in
you're
my
right.
head, I don't think. Like while I'm watching it, that's hilarious. Write that down. I want a T-shirt. When I'm watching a film, I don't try and go, oh, is it that person? Is it that person?
No,
is it that person? Is it that person? You know?
I also try not to. I found this I think it was pretty unavoidable.
Unavoidable?
Yeah, because there's just so many signs that point to it. Like she spends so much of the movie like conspicuously quiet.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like...
She's the quiet one, that's the point.
But she's kind of not, though, because she has the strength to just go straight up to Clea Duvall.
She does.
And be like, hey, I don't have many friends, you don't have many friends, let's be friends together.
I've never met a lesbian.
Yeah, exactly.
Fly, be free.
Yeah, and her reveal is...
Reveal.
A reveal's okay.
Yeah, reveal's fine. I like that she's just bored of... I love that the reveal isn't by mistake. That's what I like.
Yeah,
I like the reveal is like, you know what? Fuck this. And she just becomes the monster. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, decent.
I can't sit around here all fucking day waiting for you dickheads to figure this out.
Over it? Shit. Like, and the fact that Clea Duvall just goes, no way. Are you kidding me? You were here the whole time. And I was like, yeah. Golden. Now wrong.
I really like the shot of her with the shadow tentacles.
The pool. Oh, shadow tentacles.
Yeah.
I love the pool. How she's swimming and becomes the monster and then slides up to her. There's some really boss effects in this, man. Like, still holding up. Those two effects that we just talked about. Tell me another time that they've been done well now without CG.
Oh, like, I would like to think that moment of her walking through the gym with all the shadows of the tentacles, I'd like to assume that that's practical.
Yeah.
But it's most likely CGI, I would think. Yeah. But it's still a great shot. It looks wonderful. There's actually some really nice moments of direction in this, I think. Like, I think Rodriguez does some really cool stuff.
Yeah,
I really like that it could be a cheap jump scare, but I just dig it for some reason. Yeah. I love the one where Piper Laurie keeps saying, Casey, trying to get his attention when he's staring at Robert Patrick out in the sprinklers.
On the eyes.
And it goes, dunk, 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 really.
And then...
Yeah.
How good is that? That's some nice directing.
It's a good jump scare. Like,
he knows what he's doing, man.
Because it gives us that impression that she's gonna snap in that moment, and
oh shit,
like, but it doesn't do it in the way like a worse movie would, which would have her do it and then flash back and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So he achieves the same effect without actually ruining the universe, which I like.
Yeah. So good.
There's a couple of little bits and pieces here and there. But let's return to the testing of the drug scene.
Sure. Testing of the drugs.
It's not a great scene. I don't enjoy it very much at all.
It's quite flat.
It's
the flattest part of the film.
I also don't like movies that do this, and it happens. I can't think of another example, but it's something that always frustrates me. Is that they should be a write-off for at least a couple of hours. But
time sensitive.
They have some giggles.
The drug wears off, and
then it's back to business.
Yeah.
Because if he is selling as much as he's selling, and it is such a commodity at this school, it's not dying after 10 minutes, because that's how people go, you know what, fuck this stuff, this is garbage.
Yeah.
It needs to be good stuff, because he has a rep. And he's, people are coming up to him and being like, come on, man, we've heard it's the best,
Exactly.
What does he say? Guaranteed to jack you up.
That is so bad. It's such a bad line.
It's terrible.
There are a couple of those bad lines in here.
But then he also, they have to keep doing it. Like, Elijah Wood has snorted, 4 of these things by the end of the day. And it's amazing that his brain hasn't exploded. How much detergent is in his fucking bloodstream at this point?
Household items. I love how they say that. Like, it's caffeine pills and household items. What fucking household items are you using?
Exactly. Because if it's bleach or something...
Exactly.
Everyone's in some pretty fucking big trouble.
For some reason, when you say household items, I feel like, have you, crushed up bulbs? In the... something fucked up or something? What household items?
Yeah.
What, like an iron? An iron? Like a pan? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's how you get that's the good shit. Right. When you get the
melt down a spatula and, and put it in fucking.
You peel off the non-stick surface of a pan and cut it into little that bit jacks you up.
Nice.
What else? Did you see?
Go on.
Did you see the fucking graffiti on one of the, I think it was on a bus or behind a wall or something, because they are the whatever Hornets is their their team name.
Yeah,
I
do remember this.
that said "Me so Hornets."
I did see that.
And I was like, oh come on,
That's
quality.
who's on Art Deck? Come on, man, who's on it? You know what I do like?
What's that?
Going back to the effects, one of my favorite, and still to this day, it's one of the most effective, violent shots in a film for me.
Oh, yeah.
Is the tentacle swipe on Stokely and pulling her down and having her smack her head on the
it's
pool
good, isn't it?
And dragged. That is, and still to this, so effective. So effective. Because you feel the ones, and the way that I say effective, when it happens, you feel it.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you absolutely feel it. You get that. You get that shudder through your body.
The
when
other
she
one
lands.
that I tune it to is the curb stomp of of American
and maybe
American History X.
Teeth trauma is a bit of a thing for you. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah,
I mean, it looks painful, and it's actually like there's a lot of blood in this movie. They don't really shy away from it, which is I appreciate. They're happy to let it be. Like Rodriguez gets his kicks. You know, like he gets to have his kind of not ultra violence, but.
Because Desperado is bloody.
Desperado's bloody. From Dusk Till Dawn is a fucking blood streaming.
See
out.
episode 3.
Yes. And so even though he gets to kind of, he has to make a teen movie, he still gets to have his moments where he's like, I'm going to make that blood pour out because it pours out of her.
Absolutely.
And you're right, there's a real visceral quality to the way she hits the ground.
Man, it's good. It just does really well, I reckon.
Yeah.
Really well.
So what, Nick, what was the deal with... Because I was thinking about in my head, the late 90s, early 2000s, paranoid thrillers.
Oh, yep.
Now,
antitrust.
Antitrust is probably not a bad one, actually, because it's kind of like corporate paranoid thriller.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly certain there's scenes in that as well where he's not quite sure if everyone knows that he's...
Was it Arlington Road?
Arlington Road is... Yeah, but that's more like... That's like a terrorist thriller thing.
Oh, okay.
Specifically like the teen one.
What are you talking about?
Well,
teen ones,
there's definitely disturbing behavior.
Disturbing behavior. I had the
100%.
poster to that.
Me too.
And I don't know why. I actually own the DVD. Like I was... Look, going back, I was heavily into Dawson's Creek. Loved... everything stopped while I watched Dawson's Creek. So when the cast spun off and did... it was Varsity Blues, Disturbing Behaviour, Skulls, and I think what was Michelle's? I think it was Dick, or something like that. I think it was Dick.
Yeah, that might have been around that time, 97, 98.
Yeah. But I own that poster, man. I loved it.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of the Skulls as well, is
Skulls,
a really
there you go.
clean
There's
example of this. They all have really similar scenes. That idea of like everyone's turning against you and you need to pretend that you're okay at that point, you know what I mean? Or you have to kind of negotiate.
Is turning against you.
And we had a real fascination with that. Even like movies like, do you remember Gossip?
Yes.
So Gossip
with Norman Reedus, a young Norman Reedus.
Gossip's got this. It's this weird paranoid thriller.
Marsden was it James
Marsden and Lena Headey.
Yes, that's right.
One of those movies that I reckon I've seen more than I ever should have seen.
Oh, sure.
I think I've at least watched it 4 times.
Really?
Why? I own it.
4 times?
I own it on DVD. I definitely own it on DVD.
Why do you have Gossip?
Because, do you remember back working at JB Hi-Fi days? There's still a company, but Real DVD? When they first kind of hit the scene at JB and they were releasing their all DVDs, $6.98.
Yes,
and you ended up finding because they basically bought out old Roadshow back catalogue and Paramount old back catalogue and stuff like that, and just released them all for $6.98. Back then,
you chewed them up, didn't you?
Getting a DVD for $6.98 because we'd get staff price, and then if there was a special on,
you're getting it for $2.
You were getting them, $2 or $3.
Yeah,
I bought a lot of those DVDs, and Gossip was one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a decent buy for $2.
I mean, I've definitely got my money's worth out of it.
Definitely. You've watched it 4 times?
Yeah.
4 times.
But it's a dead genre for the teen movie now, like the teen paranoid thriller. Like when
teen
are we
paranoid.
I would like to see it make a bit of a comeback.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be alien invasion.
Yeah.
Disturbing behavior was like government mind control.
Yeah.
Skulls is like corporate influence kind of thing. Like, I like that. I think there's ways we can do that still, but it's dead.
Kind of adults are against us all type deal.
And look, 100%, that's a big part of it.
That was a big part of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, the adults are against us. No one understands us.
We should have done Skulls, Tys.
We will do Skulls at some point, because that movie is fucking terrible.
Ah!
And it has some.
I love it. I can't wait.
That movie ends with a fucking old-timey pistol duel.
That's right.
What is going on in that movie? It's ridiculous.
No way. I totally forgot about it.
I think I'm going out on a limb because I haven't seen it forever, but I think Disturbing Behaviour might be the pick of the bunch.
What? No way.
I
remember it being like really poxy. Like in the end, like midway through, you're like, what? Nothing's happening in this film.
Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty sure Skulls is the pick, man.
No.
Skulls is totally the pick.
Is it though? Oh God.
Or is it Faculty? No, Faculty is not. It's not one of them. It's not the paranoia. Like it is slightly, but it leans more towards the alien invasion.
I put Disturbing Behaviour and Faculty in very similar camps. Yeah,
right.
I think they're the most closely related.
Okay.
Because I think they have almost identical scenes at points.
Nice.
And their overall kind of concept, the fact that this starts with the teachers, is no accident. It's thematically what the movie's trying to say. Is the
teachers are after us.
The teachers are after us. That no one understands us. We're young and rebellious, and no one gets us.
Exactly.
Etc. Etc.
Etc. Etc.
Well, it's actually kind of a bit of a. Speaking of, we talked about this last week. We had a bit of a Buffy kind of reference. I thought in Captain Marvel.
We did.
There's a huge. This movie is all basically what Buffy's kind of show ethos was, which is the whole idea of high school hell being a metaphor for actual high school.
Right. Can you stream Buffy?
You can stream some episodes, I believe.
What?
Not all.
What do you mean some?
Well, it's one of the 10 now or 9 play, or one of them has like 6 episodes at a time or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, it's streamable in other countries.
Of course it is.
But here, I think there's some rights issues.
Wow, 10 play. Do you know what we get?
What do we get?
We get season 1.
The whole of season 1? Yeah. Oh, that's convenient. It's the worst season, so great.
Wow, we get season 1. Well done, Australia.
Yeah.
Pat on the back for you, mate. Fucking joke.
Yeah. But it's a well-worn trope.
Bring on Apple TV.
Yeah, so I hear. There'll be all kinds of fun stuff.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, let's talk about the end. Unless you have something.
No, we can talk about the end.
Because I have some gripes here. I totally forgot. So you said before Elijah and Jordana Brewster, you don't believe them together at all.
No, not one little bit.
No, that doesn't happen. And
not only through an age difference, but through the fact that I think it diminishes his character.
Yeah,
because
massively.
He's from
he's like
from how she's been presented to how he's been presented.
Yeah,
he should tell her to get fucked.
Yeah, you can tell he's a little bit obsessed. In his room, you get a couple of photos.
And he sniffs her in the cupboard. Oh,
serial killer.
Yeah,
yeah. So there's a little bit of
like
that there. So that's weird as hell. The relationship I believe and the relationship I love in this is Stan and Stokely.
Right.
I think their chemistry works. I thought it was great, especially with starting with the bumping into each other. And it's one of my favourite lines even to this day when she says, "Fucking walk much?" And he goes, "You ran into me, beast." And I'm like, that is gold, man. Yeah. That is rad writing. But the fact that they go from that to there being some actual chemistry. But the thing is, in the end, Tys, like he quits. He doesn't want to be the jock anymore. And he's fine with that. But it's been 1 month and she has a facelift and no makeup, red hair. She washes her hair and she's wearing dresses. And I'm like, now come on now. You don't just switch on a dime and go, you know what, I actually want to be this. I would have preferred her to stay the goth that she is, have her be a little bit more happier and things like that. But obviously, I know the film tropes and things like that. If she's happy, she has to be lighter, like the stupid thing of the Virgin being in white and that fucking bullshit, you know. So she's happier, so she has to dress happier, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it's horseshit. It's absolute horseshit. It's kind of like.
I just didn't like that.
No, I didn't like it at all. And it's a common problem that I don't understand why screenwriters think that you're like a character like Stokely.
Yeah.
Her individualism is her strength.
Yeah.
She's not doing it because I don't get the idea that she's doing it because she's a weak character and it's like a guard.
Yeah.
I don't get that at all. I get that it is her uniqueness is what gives her strength. And so by taking that away and putting her in a fucking floral dress, it's kind of like, well, she's not unique anymile.
Yeah.
You've taken away her uniqueness. Yeah. You've taken away her strength.
And that's not the Stokely that we just saw go through shit.
No, exactly. She's stronger. If anything, she's stronger now.
Yeah.
Just because she has feelings for somebody and they're reciprocated doesn't mean that she doesn't still have her individualism.
Exactly.
I don't like it at all.
We do have to remember as well, though, because I kind of looked up, because this was around Columbine. So it was a big trope that goths weren't happy people, which is, if you have ever met a goth or a person who likes to dress up gothic, you are dead wrong.
Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah, exactly. They're the most likely the people to help you out of a jam
exactly
that you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I didn't really even consider that. So,
Yeah.
I mean...
It was around
she's not in a trench coat.
No, of course
and
not.
Army boots. Is she like?
Yeah, exactly.
She just had dark hair and wore kind of cool cut off jumpers with the you know. To be honest, I was kind of digging the style. I was like, man, I miss dressing like that. To be honest,
right?
I miss that style.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't want to still be fucking dyeing my hair and wasting time on that because who's got time for that shit? But I would love
every time.
I did enjoy just big jumpers, and I still love I wear black jeans pretty much on a daily basis. I'm still hanging on to that part because that's still fashionable.
That's the only thing. Yeah, me the same. Please,
you got your black jeans and
chucks.
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna remove. I'm gonna be a man in his 70s wearing this. I will hold on to it.
I can't wait to be an old man and dress like I did when I now.
100%.
Because it's gonna be great.
You will not catch me in a pair of slacks. I'm not wearing fucking khaki.
Never.
Get fucked.
I wear a chino every now and then for work and formal occasions.
There we go. Yeah, I went to a wedding and I was like, okay, I think it's time, because it was a summer wedding as well. So I had to, you can't wear a black suit to a summer wedding.
No, nice,
so,
some nice chinos and a tan jacket. Changes everything.
Exactly.
Up. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
All right. So that was my one gripe with the end of it.
I don't like anything about the ending. I think basically from the moment it dies, this movie just plummets to just
the fact that Zeke is playing football.
Why is Zeke playing football? Why is he playing football?
Does he have a thing with the teacher now? Is that what's happening?
Is he fucking Famke Janssen?
Fucking Famke Janssen.
Look, don't get me wrong. I know that they said that once the parasite is out of your body, you return to human form.
Yeah.
But she had her head removed from her body. There are some things that you shouldn't be able to come back from.
Exactly. The head is coming off. If the parasite dies, her head comes back off.
That's kind of what I would imagine. Yeah. She's sitting there watching him. And he's
back into her old ways,
punching darts while on the football field. I don't care who you are.
Can I just say there's a lot of punching darts in this film?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
especially in school. In school, Stokely is sitting there reading a book with just a deck of smokes in front of her. I'm like, what school did you go to that it's okay to just have a pack of smokes just sitting there?
The lengths that we went to in high school to hide the fact that we were smoking cigarettes.
Are you kidding me? Massively.
If we all applied that creativity to curing cancer,
would have been massive, man.
We'd be doing much better things. Instead, we came up with contraptions that we could put cigarettes into and then feed them through tubes and things, so that we could take puffs of a dart and blow it out into it was ridiculous.
It was insane. People bought a big thing at my school was bringing matches instead of a lighter.
Oh yeah.
So because you can just ditch matches.
Oh, and you only lose 30 cents, yeah.
Exactly. Just ditch them. Boom, they're done. Go.
Good point.
Ditch the matches. Do you you're a teacher, Tyson. You're on the other, you're on the flip side of this. But you're the cool music teacher, aren't you, Tyson? can I ask a question? When you walk down the Oval, do you get teachers come and hide the smokes?
Okay,
do you get that?
No, because of what my job entails, I don't have to do any of that stuff. So I don't do yard duties.
You don't do yard?
I don't have home
motherfucker.
Groups. No, I've got none of that stuff.
Oh, you bastard.
So and it's a running joke amongst most of my students as well, is that when they talk about the other teachers, and they look at me for a reaction, and I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about. And do you ever leave the performing arts building? I'm like, no. No, never. If I'm forced to leave the performing arts building, I have to ask people where am I?
Are you being serious?
Where is this? Do you know where this classroom is? And
Tyson!
Have you been here for 8 years? I'm like, yeah, I know. So yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Do they?
But to be quite honest, I wouldn't give a rat's
Do they ever ask hey Tyson, because you've got a free? Do you mind just just taking. You don't have to do anything. Just take this class.
None of that.
Really?
No.
I'd love to see you just take like an English class and just sit up.
I've taken some music classes.
I'm talking about a class that is not in your.
Oh yeah.
What you're there for.
No, it'd be great. I'd get right into it. I reckon. I'd be like,
Tyson,
what are they reading?
Can we just chuck you into a ceramics class just real quick?
Oh yeah, that'd be terrible.
I'd love that. Hey gang, what's going on? Do what you normally do. I don't give a shit. Here's some music.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing on my phone. If someone hurts themselves, try and do it somewhere else.
And put those smokes away, you little filthy bastard.
Can I have one? And then put the rest away.
Put the rest away. Actually, you know what? I'm confiscating these.
You'll
get it back at the end of the day.
Is that weed? I'm confiscating.
We're confiscating.
And these
two.
Very good.
Faculty time.
I think that's going to wrap us up, man.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I'm all over it.
Look, it's like I will still always return to this movie.
As if you're not going to put this on.
No, it's because it's so easy to watch, and it was a huge deal for me back in the day. Like it really was.
It was for us. Like it was made for us.
Yeah, I think it was. We talk about this a lot, but it was a very solid 5 for 5 Weeklies choice.
Oh, it was banging there.
You could always know that it was like, I've got this 5th one I haven't picked anything for. Oh, let's get the Faculty again.
Man, I love the fact. It was the cover too, that black and blue that did it. Oh,
yeah, but those covers, that was classic Miramax cover too. Like the heads.
It was the same.
Like the triangle.
It was literally the same for Disturbing Behaviour with the black and blue.
Oh, the colour scheme. Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know how they did like on screen, they had Nev Campbell at the front, and then you'd have the like descending, like the receding line of people. Yeah. Same thing for this.
Yeah, man. I just didn't know why Usher was smack in the front. He was in the front of the cover, like the head, like not in the back.
Yeah, look, Usher was a failed experiment. Like making Usher a screen presence was a really terrible idea.
Yeah.
Usher can sing.
Can make some mad tunes.
Yeah, he can dance. He can sing. He's good at that stuff.
He is.
He doesn't really even have a presence at all, I don't think.
No.
And the fact that it was like the two mates, one was Usher, and one was literally some guy I've never seen before in my life.
Right?
That kind of shows you just how much they cared about that character. They were just like, "Oh, we can get Usher in this thing. Yeah, cool, great. Let's give him that guy.
Do it. Yeah. What's his name? Sean Hannessy? What do you call him?
Hatwosi. No, I think it's just Sean.
Hattosi.
Hattersey. I think you pronounce it Hattersey.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
What else did he do? Did he do anything else?
Yeah.
He's done 70 things.
Like go to his IMDb around 96 to 2000.
I was in and Out. Oh, he was in The Postman, Tys. The Postman.
Oh, he's the guy that outs Kevin Kline in and Out. No, he's one of his students in and Out. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Or his son, maybe?
Something like that.
I love In and Out.
He's doing a lot of Anywhere. Do you remember Anywhere But Here and Down to You?
Yeah, 100%. He was in like, he was the friend or the other guy, or he would pop up for like 2 scenes and make some gags and then fuck off. Occasionally had a lead, but very rare.
He was in Felicity. Oh, everyone loves Felicity. The early 2000s. How good was Felicity?
Yeah, there's like time travel in Felicity, isn't there?
What?
I heard a rumor. I never watched it past a certain point, but I think there's like time travel in Felicity.
Let me try and do that soundbite again because that was so high.
That was good work. Nice.
Did you like that?
I did like that.
And then we saw him again in Public Enemies, which was just god awful.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Public Enemies. I've seen Owl for Dog. I really
wanted Public Enemies to be good though.
Me too.
How could it not be good? Michael Mann, man.
Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it, Tys. We're done.
Oh, Outside Providence.
What's Outside Providence? I don't know what that is.
I've definitely seen Outside Providence. Yeah, because that's right. It was written by the Farrelly brothers.
Oh.
Was not directed by them, and it's got Alec Baldwin in it. So
okay.
Yeah, which I don't remember like loving it, but I definitely didn't hate it. So it's right smack in the middle.
Nice.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. I think
that's gonna do it, peeps.
That's The Faculty.
The Faculty.
Yeah. What's your favorite 90s paranoid thriller, ladies and gentlemen? Do you lean towards Disturbing Behaviour? Perhaps you're a what else is there?
Do you own a skull ring?
Are you a member of the Skulls?
Are you a member of the Skulls?
Can you help us out, is basically what I'm saying. Is it just like Scientology and we just give you some money and you make our life better?
Yeah, like...
Get me in board. I want to be in on this.
We want in. We want to at least see a pistol duel.
I would love to watch an old-timey pistol duel.
Pistol duel. Come on.
Yeah.
Are you wrong?
Pistols at dawn.
Spot on.
We should just do that to solve every one of the world's problems.
I would love it.
Pistols at dawn.
Hillary and Trump. Pistols at dawn.
Exactly.
God damn.
He wouldn't be able to get his fucking little hands around the trigger.
It wouldn't. And she'd be so fast.
Oh, you know she would be fucking. She would absolutely just smash it.
Or she'd get someone else to shoot him and go, what are you going to do? He's dead.
It's done.
I did you a favour.
Yeah.
All right. Do we move on, Tys?
What's our next segment, Nick?
It is... What did you watch this week? Tys, did you watch anything?
I did watch something, Nick. Did you watch anything?
I watched a few things.
A few things?
I watched three things.
Four
things this week.
You watched 4 things in like 20 years.
How fucking insane is that shit? I know. I just had the time. I was like, okay, well, guess I'm doing this.
That's amazing.
I'm going to talk about 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah?
Go for it. Do you want to do one for one, or do you want to do both and then I'll do both?
No, I'll do. Let's do one for one.
Okay.
Let me talk, Tys, to you. Let me show you a poster and let it wash over you whether you saw this in the video store or not, because I'm 99% sure that you saw that. Do you remember that poster?
No,
do you remember that video
don't, actually.
in the horror section?
What's it called?
It is called Night Train to Terror.
Oh, I don't recognize this one. Show me.
This, you can just look it up on your own.
Okay, that's a good point.
I watched Night Train to Terror, Tyson. So let me just sum up. Here we go. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
God and Satan are on a train discussing the fate of 3 individuals. The stories of the people in question are told in a trio of strange is it vanities? I don't even know how to say that word.
Vignettes,
thank you. One involves an insane asylum with some very disturbing treatment. Other involves a death club. And the final shows us adventures of the server of Satan. While this is all happening, God and Satan are accompanied in the next cart by a band who is also playing non-stop on this train. Tell me you're not going to watch that.
This is wild. This sounds fucking great.
So yeah, Tyson, if I could give a -5, I would.
Oh, it's that bad?
Good Lord, man. Like it is, but it's, I jest. I gave it a 1 star only because, no, I think I gave it 2. Did I give it 2? I gave it 2 literally because it is of that. It's so bad that it's good.
Yeah, and it looks like it would be a lot of fun.
It was
this looks like the kind of movie you should be watching with a crowd.
Yeah, it was so insane, Tyson. So
where did you find this?
I think I streamed it.
Is it on that?
On that, the horror one that I showed you?
Yeah.
So 80s film. It was just, Tyson, the editing in this was just absolutely fucking laughable.
Yeah.
Like it was so chopped that you were like, he is wearing a different shirt. Are we not onto this? Like, what is going on here? Like,
this is these movies to a T, man.
I love it, man. It was so good.
And I guess you got to just find, what kind of enjoyment can we take out of this?
Exactly. And that's what you're looking at. This band who just kept playing the same song over and over and over. And it was like a hippie, like it was not a hippie, like a exercise 80s. Everyone's wearing leg warmers and flicking around at the camera.
Amazing.
Like it's so good. And there's a guy in the background holding a saxophone, not playing it, just holding it.
Oh yeah, good.
Things like that. And the stories are quite, they were quite messed up sort of thing. Like, it was like, oh, I didn't know you were going to go there. Like, that's quite full on. But it was bloody. It was hilarious. You watch it. I've never said this before, but you watch this movie for the editing.
Okay.
It's that hilarious.
I will check it out, man.
Hang on a minute. What just happened? Like, what just happened just then?
I have seen, I do enjoy a trashy 80s horror movie watch, especially, and in some ways it's like the worse the better, because it's a lot more, there is fun to it, and it's not not in any kind of ironic too cool way where it's oh, this is so shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually just, it's fun. Like, it really is, that I think that genre lends itself to kind of not taking the piss. I feel bad saying taking the piss, but relishing in its kind of
this is
amateurness.
Yeah, but
there's just a simple kind of joy in that.
But had we saw this, Tys, when we worked in the video store, we would watch 2 minutes and turned it off.
Yeah.
This now, watching it as we are a connoisseur of film, it's a bit different now, because you're looking at, because they didn't set out going, oh, we're going to make this really tacky.
Oh, no, you assume everybody goes in to make a movie with good intentions.
Good intentions, exactly. But this one, you can tell that the girls in this, they were coerced by the director. Well, how about we show a little bit of skin here? You know, we're going to make you a star. And you're like, oh, come on. No.
Yeah, it's always tough to watch in that stuff, isn't it?
But it was, it was a hell of a lot of fun to watch this thing.
I bet 100%. I will definitely look that up, man.
Hilarious.
Sounds
Night Train to Terror, 1985.
All right, I'm on it, man.
Yeah,
I am on it.
I'm
actually only going to talk about one, to be honest. I did see a couple of things, but I didn't love them, and I can't be bothered hanging shit on movies today. So I'm going to talk about. I watched a movie from. I think it was 2 years ago. It's festival release, but it had a wide release last year, and that was You Were Never Really Here. The Lynn Ramsey directed, Joaquin Phoenix.
We talked about the trailer, and it looked bad. I really wanted to watch this.
Yeah,
was it good?
Oh, it's something else. Yeah,
Right.
It's really great. It's actually on Canopy now, which is that free streaming service that you can gain access to. It's almost its whole catalog, just if you're a student or you are a member of a local library, which is pretty. That's a pretty great deal.
Yeah.
They specialize in kind of critically acclaimed movies. They have a whole Criterion section now which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And they just happened to have this online for free, and I was kind of like, wow,
dude,
for a movie that only just came out
last year?
Yeah, that's really great.
Huge.
So I got to watch that. It's really great. I can't say enough good things about it, other than the fact that I think it almost doesn't do enough with its idea. Like it's quite short and feels a little slight, and that's the only kind of criticism I can give it, is that for a movie that I think could potentially have so much impact and be so memorable, it only manages to be quite impactful and quite memorable.
Right.
That's pretty much all I can say.
Nice.
It's like I wanted it almost to aim higher because it knocked this out of the park so well that it deserved to try more.
Yeah. And no one saw this thing, did they?
No, not really many. It probably would have ranked up in my favourites of last year if I had seen it around that time.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix gives an incredible performance. It's a very thoughtful, kind of downbeat revenge movie.
Okay.
So he's like a hired goon.
Oh, really?
I guess
hired goons.
Hired goons.
Still my favorite fucking Simpsons bit ever.
That's so good.
Like it's the opening of the door and then straightening of the tie and then the closing of the door again. Like fucking
so
shit.
good.
Hired goons.
Hired goons. And he's really meticulous in his business. Like he does it the same way always. But there's no glamour to it at all, which I found really interesting. Like they don't try to make it seem like how cool is this? Like how great is he at his job?
Right. So he's not John Wick.
No, not at all. He's like a slow but somehow more effective John Wick, it would seem. Right? Like it just kind
more
of
effective.
John Wick, but without any of the glitz and glamour.
Okay. John Wick not trained.
Yeah.
Right.
Just with but he gets a job from a high profile senator whose daughter has gone missing, and he believes that she's been kidnapped for like prostitution purposes.
Yep.
And he goes to rescue her, and it sets off a chain of events, which leads to some pretty dark, hideous places. It is an incredible study of Joaquin Phoenix's character because he has suffered massive amounts of trauma in his life. He's a war veteran and an FBI agent by the look of it. And he constantly suffers from like PTSD flashbacks of the things that have gone, the fucking awful things that he's seen. Yeah. Couple that with what appears to be a pretty hideous upbringing as well.
Right.
And so he is not a healthy individual. And over the course of this task that he has to do, it really exposes just how messed up he is. And
what's his poison? Is he an alcoholic or
no? His violence is his poison.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit.
I would say he uses a hammer
to
get the job done.
Subtle.
And
not really clean.
No. But one of the great choices that Lynn Ramsey makes is that the violence is always off screen. Always.
Oh, I feel that's even more violent sometimes.
Yeah, and it becomes almost like irritating sometimes because you don't get the satisfaction of it, and it's such an interesting choice because there's a really great sequence that's filmed entirely through security cameras.
Oh, all right.
But
I need to watch this.
It's
then.
always like a second too late.
Yeah.
So instead of seeing like a great choreographed action sequence like Daredevil style where he's going through the building and mowing people down with the hammer, it like cuts to one shot and it's like you see the feet of him while he's beating some guy, and then it cuts to a different angle and the guy's already on the ground. Nice. And then it cuts somewhere else and you just see him walking through a door, but there's another dead guy on the ground. Like the whole movie, we're just a second behind or in front, and we don't get any of that. And it's really interesting, really interestingly put together. The only moments of violence we see are usually kind of very integral to the plot.
Right.
And to Joaquin Phoenix's character.
Okay.
It's good, man. It's really good. I can't recommend it enough. It's super short too.
Oh.
Yeah. It's less than an hour and a half. And so it's really just once it gets going,
84 minutes.
It's going.
Nice.
Yeah. Which is what I'm talking about. I actually wanted it to be longer. I wanted more.
Right.
I wanted it to do more.
Oh, that's good. It left you wanting. So you'll definitely watch it again then.
I don't know if I need to see that again because I know what it has. I know what it can tell me. I wanted more in that story. I wanted to explore some more because I think she was so in tune with his character and this whole notion of violence on screen. The movie is saying a lot about on-screen violence, and how desensitized we are to it.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities for stuff in it, and they just didn't. Yeah, it could have gone further.
Nice.
But it's a great movie. Definitely watch it. Yeah,
cool.
I loved it.
All right.
What else did you watch?
I finally got off my ass.
Yeah.
And I watched Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
is it good?
It was bliss.
Oh, good.
It was so good. It was better than a lot of superhero movies that are out there. Like, it's up there with... I'd put it on level with the first Avengers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, it's taken... Like, the people who have made this, not only do they knew what they were doing, they've set out to do something quite different, quite unique. And they did it so well. They took their time, and it's just a great film.
So good.
It's so good. It intertwines with all of the Spider things that you know. Even if, let's say you're not a big Spider-Man fan, and because you are getting Spider-Man from different realities. So in this, you're getting... We all know who Gwen Stacy is. You're getting a Spider-Gwen. So she's Spider-Woman in her world. Right. She's the one that got bitten.
Sure.
And Peter dies.
Wow.
You know, things like that. So there are so many different... There's a Peter Parker that he's in his mid-30s. He's divorced Mary Jane, and he's actually a little chubby.
Yeah, right.
You know, things like that. And then, of course, the star of the show, which is Miles Morales, which is the African-American Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's such a beautiful take. And I read a lot of Miles. Actually, reading a lot of Miles, I actually prefer Miles over Peter. When Homecoming was released, I crossed my fingers and I hoped that they were going to do Miles.
Sure.
But obviously, you know, it didn't work out. But still, he
exists in our Marvel universe.
In this universe.
Yeah.
So this movie is such a... Eye candy is the wrong word because it sounds like it's just... Oh, yeah, it's nice to look at. This is, you know, it's what dreams may come, but Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, this is stunning. This is
I really enjoy the look of the
like,
animation style.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Throughout the story that you get, that I love that they pull things from. It's not anyone can be a superhero.
Sure.
Anyone can be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to wear the mask. It's the day-to-day things that you do. The story was great. There was no fat on this. There was no scene that you could do without.
Great.
Yeah, I laughed. I fucking bawled my eyes out.
Right.
Yeah. And that's rare that both of those things happen.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, in one film. Like, I really don't think that's happened before. And it's such a family-friendly and just a great film to watch. Like, it was so good. It was so good. Had I had nothing to do, I would have gone out and bought it straight away.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's a good sign.
But yeah, I rented it on iTunes.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to Yeah, I'm going to do it soon. For sure.
Definitely a good watch.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things, so that's
So
just
good.
cemented it even further.
Yeah.
Very good.
I can't talk it up enough. And people talking it up enough, it's not going to blow it too much out of the water for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. What else did you watch, Tys?
No, that's all I'm going to talk about, Nick.
Okay, cool.
What did you watch this week? I think we should move on. In lieu of our usual segment,
yeah.
I think we might actually open the mailbag.
Oh, cool.
Why not, hey?
All right. So we're not streaming, we're mailbagging?
Well, yeah, let's mailbag it tonight.
I like it.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, give me some mailbag.
Yeah, we got some mail from friend of the podcast, Luke Watsford.
Oh, Luke, what's up,
always
buddy?
happy to hear from our good mate, Luke Watsford.
Yeah.
Gets involved across social media and sends emails every now and then. It's great.
I like it.
Love it, sick. What's up, guys? Love the Masters of the Universe episode. Found the backstory on the film's production fascinating. Makes me want to rewatch it for Frank Langella's performance. I am curious about your methods when it comes to reviewing films. Your analysis is great, and I'm always impressed with your ability to critic editing, something I barely notice when watching film. I'm trying to be more aware of this aspect when I do my own reviews, and would love any tips you might have on the matter.
Wow.
So, thanks for the email,
good
Luke.
question.
Really appreciate it, man. So, Nick,
Tys.
it's an interesting question because I don't think I've ever really thought about how
I don't know
how I come to talk about movies. What do you look for? What do you think you want? Like when you sit down and watch a movie, are there any specific elements that you try to take into consideration for our conversations?
No,
me neither.
Oh, not for our conversations. No, if I'm watching a film and it's not doing it for me, if there's something missing, I'll try and guess what's missing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. If I'm not enjoying something,
exactly.
I try to ask myself the question, well, what is it that I want? What is it that's not present right now that I think would make it better?
Yeah.
And try to fill those gaps.
Yeah. So things that stand out for me, the two major things, because directing is not one of them. For me, a director, because we've had those directors' licenses, we've talked about this on this show, is that some directors will leave the camera where it is and let the thing play out by itself. Yeah. You're not getting anything different. You're just getting a couple of landscape shots and that's it. And that's fine. That can work for some films.
Sure.
And then you also have someone who has a vision, be it Tarantino or Spike Lee or anyone who has something visual that they want to put in.
Yeah, I'd say more like a visual, stylistic approach.
Exactly. But these are the things that I don't look for. I look for performance and I look for story.
Yeah. I would agree. I'm very heavily driven by story, characterization.
Yeah.
Performances. I obviously care a lot about performance, but I can see through a bad performance, and I'm quite happy to if I think the characterization is strong enough from a storytelling element.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's funny. Like I don't consider what we do reviewing. I don't because I think it's
talking.
It's a very different kind of kettle.
I don't like reviews.
Yeah, I find it.
You read them though. You have.
I
those
do read
people that you
reviews.
read.
Yeah, I do read reviews a bit. I like to kind of. I don't think I could write reviews though. Like I don't think I'm succinct enough. I know that I like to ramble, and I know that it takes me a while to find my point. And sometimes these conversations, the conversations we have, sometimes are the things that lead me to my point. Like it takes. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it takes us chatting for 5 minutes for me to go, oh, I've got it, and then I can finally sum it up the way I want to sum it up.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd be able to do that in a review setting.
Looking at editing though, Luke. That just comes from watching a mass amount of film. The editing ones that I would maybe have a look at if you're looking at seeing how a movie can edit well, or has. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase. Looking at a film that is affected heavily by the editing.
That's probably the better way to put it.
That's a better way to put it. Would be Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah, that's a great choice.
That's a spot on one for me.
That's really well edited.
That's a really well edited film.
I'll throw in the mix. JFK. It's probably one of my favorite examples of editing that I've ever seen. Also Whiplash. Whiplash is extremely well edited.
So good.
But when it comes to it's more often than not, editing is kind of an invisible art form. But
that's the point.
Yeah. Sometimes the more you notice it, the worse it is.
Yeah. Take Night Train to Terror.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think and I think it depends what the context of what the filmmaker's trying to achieve from it. If the editing is loud and obnoxious, is it for a creative purpose or is it simply not effective?
Exactly.
But you can use that for any kind of craft. When you're sitting there, people say that the best scores are the ones you don't notice because you're so invested that the score is simply heightening your emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
I don't always agree with that because I think if I walk away from a movie and literally have no idea what the score sounded like, I don't think it's achieved its goal at all.
Right.
I think it needs to be a good balance. And it's the same thing. If it's loud and obnoxious and feels out of place, why is it doing that? What is the choice that the filmmaker is making to have the score seem so at odds with what you're seeing? You know what I mean? And I think that goes for most of the crafts in filmmaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
It is a good question. There was another part that I wanted to say.
Yeah, is there anything else that I look out for
and I was
when looking at a film?
If it's something that Luke is interested in getting into, it's so easy now to become saturated with knowledge. It's the best time in the world, and you can do it in such entertaining ways. I don't go a day without at least watching 2 or 3 video essays on movies.
Right, yeah.
Because they're just there.
They're so
They're
good.
there on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're garbage. Sometimes I completely disagree with the entire premise of the essay.
Absolutely.
But it helps me to clarify my thoughts. Sometimes they're great and it gives me these insights into films that I've just never thought of before. And it blows me away. Just to recommend a few, there's the Cinefix channel, which has a bunch of different content, and it's always really informative and really well edited. Great fun to watch.
Yeah.
What else is there? There's the Nerd Writer, who doesn't always do cinematic stuff, but when he does, he's usually pretty spot on.
Yep.
There's the...
I'm going to shout out Captain Christian.
Captain Christian does some incredible stuff. His video essays are really strong. Lindsay Ellis is incredibly informative and very entertaining in her essays as well. And you just end up...
It's a rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit hole.
You end up at 2 in the morning and your wife going, "Where are you?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Sorry. I got down a YouTube rabbit hole." She goes, "I don't believe you." I'm like, "All right, I was watching porn." Shit.
What do you want to say? I thought it sounded better.
Exactly.
But yeah, so there's so many opportunities, and I reckon the language, the ability that we have to talk about what we do talk about is only enhanced by what you can find now, because it gives us the language, gives us the insight. It's not that we're ripping stuff off, but it's more like when you hear someone say something about a movie and you go, "I never thought about it that way." It then gives you the tools to think about every movie in that way, and find those little moments in it. And then, there are no original thoughts. Like, I'm pretty sure everything we talk about has been mentioned by 40,000 other people. Yeah. But it gives
except
you the
for my take on Captain Marvel.
I'm still waiting. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else has that opinion.
I should put money down. God damn it!
There should be a way.
I'll put something down.
Yeah. I think that might wrap us up.
Nice.
Did we answer that question well enough?
Yeah, I like that
Excellent.
question.
Thanks,
That was a
Luke.
good question.
That was a lot of fun, man.
I liked it.
Why don't you tell the people where they can find our little show?
Well, thanks for joining in, ladies and gentlemen. If you would like to subscribe, go into TuneIn Radio. Is it TuneIn Radio?
What? Yeah.
God damn it! It's not that.
No, it's TuneIn.
No.
It's not in tune. That's the one you say when you get it wrong.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about Radio Public. Thank you.
Yes.
I got the fucking name. Go to Radio Public, because that's where maybe we get, if you want to...
How about the show?
If you subscribe on there, we'll get some cash.
I will say that in the last 2 weeks or so, we have had some people listening on Radio Public. As I get weekly updates from them, letting me know how many people we've had. So if you were one of the people that listen on Radio Public, thank you very much. It's very. I hope it's really easy, and I hope you found the experience pleasant, because I don't want to recommend anyone go there and then have them be like, "Oh, what the fuck is this interface?" and this sounds like shit. So I hope it was a great experience, because I found the app to be quite quite good.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much, whoever did that.
Lovely.
The couple of you that did that, because it was quite there was a solid jump. So we appreciate it very much.
Thank you. But other than that, we are on iTunes. We are on everywhere else. If you please subscribe, like, share, rate, review, all of those things on iTunes. That bumps us up all the way up.
That's it. And get involved on the Facebook page. Get involved on Twitter.
We've had a lot of likes on Instagram. A lot of new followers. So thank you so much for all of those people who are following us now.
Wonderful.
But yeah, thanks heaps.
Thank you so much. We do really appreciate it. It means the world to us to have continual support, and obviously when we hear from people, on the email and stuff like that, we really appreciate it.
Exactly. Because to me and Tyson, we're doing this to the emptiness of. We feel like no one's listening.
That's it. The emptiness of space.
Apart from our man Luke Watsford.
Luke
Watsford, you champ. We do this show for you.
That's it, basically. Next week, Nicholas.
Tice.
Next week. So we've only got a couple left before our
Our
big
100th.
100th.
Yep.
And it dawned on us that we hadn't done a war film.
We haven't done a war film, have we?
Well, maybe we have and we've forgotten. But I don't think we have. Like a legitimate, actual war film.
A legit war.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have. Because you can't count Star Wars.
No, we don't. Yes, you're right.
I didn't like that.
I can't believe I just didn't even put two and two together like that.
It was like a shitty dad joke.
Yeah. So we're going to do a movie from, what was it,
2001?
Yeah, right.
Or 2002? We're going to do Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down.
We are. A movie that I remember liking quite a lot.
Yeah, same.
But it's been a while.
Yeah, 2001.
It has been a while since I've seen it, so I'm very interested to go back to it because it's one of those films that made a very strong impression on its first viewing, and I've maybe only ever seen it once since.
Really? I remember watching this quite a bit in the 2002, 2003.
Sure.
It was because I was still at the video store. I was at a different video store at this point, and I was still at the video store, and the preview tape got a mad run.
Oh, yeah, nice. Preview tapes. Love the preview tapes.
Yeah. But there's a lot of we're doing you realise we're doing a Josh Hartnett.
Oh, Josh Hartnett double feature. All right. See, he's still holding on, Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, he makes the cover for this one, man. This is him. It's him on the cover. That's it.
There you go. See, he was still kicking around.
He was good.
Doing okay.
Good. Yeah.
For a little bit there. A little bit. He had his window.
But there are so many people. This cast is
huge. Yeah,
massive.
Absolutely huge.
Yeah. Ridley Scott does war. Like, this was after... So he did Gladiator, and Gladiator cleaned up at the awards, and this was his follow-up.
Wow.
Black Hawk Down.
That's a pretty banging double.
From Rome to the Middle East.
If this holds up as it does in my memory, that's a pretty impressive...
I can't wait.
Double hit from Ridley. Nick?
Tys?
I will just say for the people, get involved now because in the next couple of weeks we will have some exciting announcements leading up to our 99th and 100th episode, and it would be great to have as many of you involved as we possibly can. But we'll see you all next week.
Bye, Tys.
Bye, Nick.
Bye.
Bye.